The New York Rangers have officially missed out on the top two centermen available at this year's NHL trade deadline in Elias Lindholm, obviously going to the Vancouver Canucks from the Calgary Flames, as well as Sean Monahan of the Montreal Canadiens. He got traded over to the Winnipeg Jets. So both centermen are off the board now, two of the better centermen available. So we're going to kind of take a look at what this means for the Rangers, how this impacts this team, because both those players Rangers were linked to for a bit there, and it does seem like the Rangers are probably going to be wanting to add a centerman at this year's NHL trade deadline. So we're going to take a look at what this means. What happened in those deals, what was involved in those two deals there, as well as the kind of Rangers draft pick situation right now, as well as taking a look at a couple centermen available left still on the board who could be some pretty good ads and make a pretty big impact on this Rangers team. Next up here, taking a look at what was involved in the Elias Lindholm trade, sending him over to the Vancouver Canucks. It was Andrei Kuzmenko, a solid 27-year-old Russian forward, kind of a 40, 50-point kind of guy, solid NHL, but nothing too crazy. Then Hunter Brustowitz, I believe that's how you say it, not quite 100% sure, but playing the OHL for the Kitchener Rangers, and he has been an absolute monster so far this season with them. So obviously a very talented player and definitely could have a pretty good NHL future, but that's way down the road. We don't exactly know what we're going to see out of him, but a very good defenseman prospect who has been unreal in the OHL so far this season. Then next up here, another prospect here, 21-year-old Jani Jurmo, a Finnish guy playing over there in the Liga, the top Finnish league, and is doing a pretty good job. He's a big 6'5" D-man, solid prospect there. Nothing too crazy though, but a decent prospect for sure. And the other things that were included in this deal was two draft picks, one 2024 first-round pick, as well as a 2024 conditional fourth-round pick from the Vancouver Canucks. So I think this is a pretty good haul for the Calgary Flames, definitely more than I would have been willing to pay for a guy like this, who was a rental, who obviously you could very well lose in free agency this year. So personally, I am more than fine that we did not trade for Elias Lindholm, considering this price tag. Two solid prospects, one guy who's doing extremely well this year, another solid prospect in Yanni, plus a first-round pick and a conditional fourth, as well as a solid 27-year-old kind of NHLer right now. I think this is a lot to pay for a Lindholm. Although he's a great player, I do think that I'm kind of okay that the Rangers definitely did not pay this kind of price tag for him. And next up here, we have another rental center, just like Lindholm, and Sean Monahan being moved over to the Winnipeg Jets for a first-round pick in 2024, as well as a conditional 2027 third-round pick. That is a lot. Obviously not nearly as much as in the other deal for Lindholm, but still, for a guy like Monahan, who was an expiring deal, a solid center, putting up some good numbers so far this year. He's got 35 points in 49 games played. This is still a lot to give up for Monahan, and personally, I'm okay again. The Rangers did not give up a first-round pick plus another decent ass and a conditional third-round pick in 2027 for a guy like Monahan, who, although I was interested in going after, for this price tag, I'm honestly, like I said, more than fine the Rangers didn't go after him. Yeah, he's a good center, but giving up first-round picks constantly year after year after year after year, really, I don't think it's the best idea for the Rangers to do. And we've been kind of doing this the past couple of trade deadlines, giving up a lot of, more on the side of draft picks than prospects, but still, a couple of prospects here and there have been moved over alongside a lot of draft picks and stuff like that. So personally, I'm more than fine if the Rangers kind of go for some cheaper options at this year's NHL trade deadline. And taking a look at two of those kind of more cheaper options available for the Rangers at this year's NHL trade deadline among centermen, you have guys like Tyler Johnson and Adam Henrique, who although aren't going to be super cheap, they're definitely not going to cost you, a first-round pick plus whatever it is, right? They're not going to cost you a bunch of stuff. You're going to have to give it maybe a second-round pick at most. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot more than that. Maybe it's a second-round pick and a low-tier prospect, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be a whole lot more than that, even with them retaining half. I'd imagine, although this market does seem kind of high for a lot of guys, and I don't think Adam Henrique would be too much farther behind Sean Monahan in trade value-wise, I do think that you could probably get away with giving up this 2024 second-round pick that the Rangers do have, alongside maybe a decent prospect or like a fifth-round pick in this year's draft. Maybe it is just a second-round pick in 2024. That's definitely a possibility, but throwing in, a second-round pick plus a later-round draft pick or a kind of a lower-tier prospect the Rangers don't really care a whole lot about, I do think could be a pretty good move for this team. Now, we're ways away still. Do they want to go for a cheaper option at center and, add a better winger or something? That's also a possibility. If they want to add in a guy like Chris Tanev, who knows? I'm just kind of spitting out stuff here. Nothing that at least has some rumors to it or anything like that. But for right now, I do think that going after a guy like Adam Henrique or Tyler Johnson makes a whole lot of sense for this team. Like I said, only having to give up a second-round pick or so for one of those guys, I think I'm more than happy with doing instead of trading away a first-round pick plus for guys like, obviously Sean Monahan and Elias Lindholm. But next up here, taking a look at the Rangers draft pick situation going forward for the next 3 seasons in 2024, 2025, and 2026. You're looking at a first-round pick in each of the next 3 drafts, which is definitely nice. The Rangers have their own first-round pick for the next 3 years. Definitely a very valuable asset to have, but also I'm happy if they just kind of sit on some of these, first-rounders and just draft a guy. Take a solid prospect, try and develop them. I know we've definitely had our issues with doing so, but sometimes you do got to kind of keep that pick and try and pick up a Brennan Hoffman or a Gabe Perreault who could potentially be a superstar in the NHL one day. And taking a look at the second rounders, we have 1 in 2024. For the third rounders, we have 1 in 2026. Then for the fourth, we have actually 3. Our own in 2024 and 2026, but then in 2025, we do have a Dallas conditional 4th-round pick that can become a third if Nils Lundqvist does have a combined 55 points or more in 2022, 2023, so last season and this year combined. So we'll see what happens there. He has to have about 25 more points, I believe, to finish this season, which is kind of unlikely, but it's still a possibility. So more than likely, we will see this be a 2025 4th rounder. For the 5th rounders, we have all of ours over the next 3 seasons, including a Minnesota Wild 5th rounder in 2025, so not too bad there, alongside all of our 6th round picks, as well as missing our 2024 7th rounder, but having an extra 7th in 2026 via the Vancouver Canucks. So overall, not too bad there. We have most of our picks. Obviously, we're missing quite a few still, but I think for the most part, we're doing fine. Most good teams who have been competing for at least a couple of years are going to be missing quite a few picks. That's obviously what we're doing here. We've been making the playoffs, making a lot of moves at the deadlines. This is going to happen when you do that. So, for right now, we're in a fine situation. Obviously, missing 2 second rounders and 2 thirds isn't ideal, but still, we do have all of our first. We have an extra second in 2024. So, we're not doing too bad overall on the draft pick side of things, and definitely have enough capital to go out there and make some moves happen at this year's NHL trade deadline or in the offseason as well. Anyways, though, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please smash the like button. Don't forget to comment down below your guys' thoughts on this video. And also don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content. And also smash that like button as it does help the channel out a ton. I'll catch you next one. See ya.